I feel like there are two main examples that you can start with for biblical masculinity that will have a profound impact on what you think it is to be a man as a Christian. So the two examples obviously are Jesus Christ, right? First and foremost, and David. And the reason I picked David is because the Bible says that David, King David, was a man after God's own heart. He was chasing after God. It doesn't mean that he was perfect, obviously. Like David's had many screw-ups. Yeah. But he was pursuing God's attitudes. So if you start with Jesus, first and foremost, what you see is he was willing to sacrifice everything for those he loved, and in fact, for his bride.
And that's kind of one of the things that I would say with these men on my posts who are very confused is I would say they sacrifice absolutely nothing, because the fact that you're able to come onto a stranger's page and say these horrible things, I know you're saying it at home. You're probably giving your family hell at home.
Some of it just comes with the fact that people feel like there's no consequence on the internet. People that talk out and hate and on the internet is just because that's what it becomes, is this toxic cesspool where people feel like they can say what they want. Well, but a lot of it does, though, stem from the way you are at home is who you are online.
I've never met someone in person who was nasty online that wasn't the worst person I've ever met in my life.
So in reference to Jesus' masculinity and being willing to sacrifice everything for your family, for your bride, let's say, like Jesus did, I've heard people say, and I've seen the ministers you're talking about, the pastors who say, nothing matters as much as the gospel. So I'm going to be a pastor first and a father second and a husband second or whatever. I have issue with that because to me, that's not sacrificing yourself for the bride. Like that's not laying down your pride and humility and getting humble and laying all that down. Some of that is giving into ego. There are plenty of pastors, I'm not going to call them out by name, but there are plenty of pastors who aren't pastoring the church correctly. They're not doing it with the right intentions. There are plenty of pastors who are doing it just because of the ego trip of I'm in charge, I'm in power, this is the ministry that God's given me, and I'm special.
I'd say
then there are a lot of pastors who are doing it for the right reason.
I'd say if you are neglecting your family and you're doing the ministry and you would make that statement, I think it's all ego. I don't think you're in it for Jesus at all. And I think it shows who you are in the home. And that's one thing I ask people is like the question I ask people is like, what do the people closest to you say about you? That's who you are.
My wife works a nice job, gets a nice check. She's a very successful woman. I'm very proud of her. But at the same time, I lead my family by directing my kids' attitudes, by instructing my 3 boys how to be a man, what that looks like, by leading them in the gospel, by regularly, like making sure we're in the Word, and by setting a standard and example of readiness. Sometimes as a man, we got to give up our dream and let our wife chase hers, but at the same time, not give up our position as when there's a threat that comes at the door, we got to answer, and we got to be ready to take care of it. You know, and when there's big, massive decisions that have to happen, yes, we get to our partner and say, how are we going to handle this? But I feel like it's up to the man to bear that kind of weight, just like Jesus. That's the self-sacrifice. He made the decisions while he's here. He's like, give me the bread. Give me the bread and fishes. I'll feed the people. Give me the supplies. I'll make the decisions of how to figure it out. And I think that's the example of what masculinity really is you take what you have and you use it. But Jesus also gave the parables of the good and faithful servant. You got 3 servants. One of them buries his talent in the sand, and when the Lord arrives, he digs it back up and says, here you go, here's your money. And he says, you wicked and lazy servant, get him out of here. Yeah. Nobody wants to be that guy. In Jesus' standard, as a man, you're supposed to work with what you have and what you're given. And you're supposed to be faithful over it and a good steward over it and set that precedent and example for your kids. If you like this clip from the Not Gospel Studios YouTube channel, don't forget to share. Click on one of the other links and videos. You can find them here, and subscribe. I think it's down here. Tell your friends about us. Tell them that it's healthy, that it's vegan, and all of those things. Keep being awesome because that's how God made you.